Yeah, so, I'm Dave Walk. I'm an engineer here at Sidecar, and this is some notes on the release of Go 1.8. I'm not going to go through like every single thing. There's like a lot of little things that can't get to it all. So I'm kind of just pulling out some of the main things. These slides are based off of Dave Cheney, I think that's how you say it. He's like a core contributor to Go. He put these on GitHub, Creative Commons license, and I also took some stuff from a guy at Google, the State of Go, February 2017, like presentation, kind of just like piecing everything together, pulling out what is kind of the most important stuff in my opinion. But we'll see what you guys think. So yeah, Go 1.8 was released today, just a few hours ago. There's a blog post there. You can read that later. It's available for download now. It's latest version. Latest big version. Topics here: language additions and updates, performance stuff, improvements there, changes to tools, and then like a little bit of what might be happening in 1.9 from what people are piecing together. You never know, but this maybe is what's going to happen. First, small things to the language. So now there's this idea of struct conversions where when explicitly converting a value from one struct to another type, the tags are ignored. So if you see in this example here, so you have like this person struct, you have, let's say you're getting a response from like an API or something. Before, you couldn't just like convert it, just take the data from your response into your person. You would have to kind of do it property by property there because it wasn't matching up with the tags, and like now it doesn't matter. The only thing is that both types will have to have same sequence of fields and same order. Corresponding fields of the same type, of course, but just a little convenience there. Maybe that can help somebody. Another little thing, if you ever had this sort of slice, you have to write these three functions: the length, the swap, and the less. Now you can just write this one inline function, and it does all that under the hood. Someone at Francis, I think that's his name. In his presentation, he said it is a little slower. He did some, metrics on it. It is a little slower. So, what are you getting for convenience? I don't know. Maybe it helps somebody. The HTTP server. HTTP server has a shutdown method for gracefully shutting down the server without interrupting any of the active connections. Like basically here you have channel that you're listening for like the control C, like an interrupt, like a terminate, and then when you get it, you're calling this new server.shutdown. It takes a context, I think context.background, just like a empty context, and you could do something in there, and then here you have like this HTTP error server, if not error server flows, you can do something there, and it's gonna finish all of those active connections before shutting down. I think that'd be cool and like a lot of these people could just do a whole lightning talk on. Like that is one that you can have a whole lightning talk on, like really digging into that. So if, like next meetup, like we can have everyone wants to present, it'd be pretty cool. Next thing, more context support. So starting in Go 1.7, there is a context library in the standard library, and they're starting to use that in other places in the standard library. So now, like I just showed, server.shutdown takes the context. Some of the database SQL package, and 9 of the lookup methods, and the net resolver. So like little stuff. Not anything mind-blowing, but maybe that can help you in some use case you have. Performance, of course, I mean, this is from the slides. This is not me saying it. It varies. Also, another great idea for lightning talk, like if you do some performance testing and you see a degradation or a regression. There was one. These slides will be up on GitHub, by the way, so you can go to the links. There was one that people found with, they made like a Hello World app for HTTP, and there was like a small regression there and speed that they're going to look into for 1.9. They're kind of like looking through that now. Yeah, it'd be great for talks for this. Miscellaneous performance improvements to different packages there. So I'll pause and read through the list. Garbage collection pauses should be significantly shorter, under 100 microseconds, often as low as 10 microseconds. That's pretty cool. Defer, the overhead of defer function calls were reduced by half. And the overhead of calls from Go into C is reduced by half. So, and you can read online like how they did all these. Don't want to get into everything. Compiler speed is 12 to 15% improvement. So, yeah. So if anyone has any, anyone sees any of these numbers in the real world, that'd be great. So some updates to the tooling that are kind of interesting. So there's a default Go path. So like, if you're like everyone probably has a Go path set, but if you're like totally new to Go, that might be kind of confusing to you. So now the default on Unix is just your home/Go, and then Windows is user profile/Go. The idea here, I think, is just to get like new people on board a lot quicker. So I think when you build without the Go path, it will give you like a little warning saying like this is what it's using. So like, you know, you might want to set that, but like this is what it's using for now. So good to know for new people, I guess. The Yak tool is removed from Go tool, and yeah, it's removed. It's now in the tools repository. Is it the trace tool? I just like read about this today. Does anyone use the like Go tool trace? Does anyone use that? No. It like there's not a lot being written about it, but basically you could create like what's that?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I just remember I had used this for like some debugging stuff when yeah, we had like a particularly slow thing at work, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was actually pretty useful. The tool itself allows you to, or lets you hook into kind of standard Unix debugging tools, and not just kind of the Go ones, which are like okay. So you can get a little bit more fine-grained understanding like the system calls that your application is making and what's actually being allocated and stuff. Kind of nicer little visualizations down the top.
Yeah, so it gives you like it opens it up in a web browser, right? And you can like click through different links and like get a table of like all the Go routines, like how much time is spent in every one. It's something you can like click on the Go routine and kind of like drill down. So now garbage collection events are now shown more clearly in there, so like little improvements there. I want to try again another little cool lightning talk idea, guys. It might be useful to debug something, make something faster. So the vet tool, another thing here is stricter in some ways, looser in other ways. That cause false positives, so it now checks for like duplicate tags and all kinds of little things. Maybe that'll help you there. New tool called GoBug. This helps just report bug report to GitHub. Basically, it opens a new issue in like GitHub.com with all the details of your system. So like that probably just obviously helps the Go team instead of having to ask you, can you give us all the details of your system, the version and everything? Like it does automatically, so it saves them time, saves you time. Another tool I never used, GoFix, but I guess I could rewrite like import references. So I guess context didn't used to be part of the standard library, but now it is. So if you run GoFix on your files, it'll fix those imports. I'm not sure if it did other imports in the past. I don't know if anyone knows that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So if anyone uses pprof, now there is a new profile with pprof for profiling. Now you can analyze like mutex contention, so you can see like how much time different processes are trying to grab a mutex. So maybe you can get some optimization there. Like the video I was watching was someone thought, okay, you can lock it, do a bunch of stuff, and then release it, and that's going to be more efficient than locking and unlocking multiple times, right? That's what you think, but actually turn the other way, because like as you have it locked longer, other stuff is trying to get in there, and there's more performance loss there. So doing an oversight only works with sync.mutex and not rw.mutex, but that'll be addressed in 1.9. So this is a new feature called plugins, which is, I think it's going to be kind of cool. You can do a lot with it. And we'll see like over time what people use it for, but basically you can build plugin like shared object files, and then that you can then like dynamically import your code to do all kinds of stuff. So I was thinking like, here's an example. So it's just a standard file. You build it with a build mode plugin, and then you can load it in here, like plugin open the file, like look up the actual type, and do something with it. You can do the functions too, of course. So there's a pretty cool demo here of basically doing like code hot loading. So he has like a main function with it, like an infinite for loop, and then he just keeps loading. He like calls exec to just build these two files that just say like hello, goodbye, but he just like builds them and then runs like the run function, so it just prints out hello, goodbye, and then he's got that running, and then he changes one of those files and just changes the text, and then it just shows up the changes. So it's sort of kind of like a pretty simple like hot loading. I was thinking of like if anyone uses like Telegraph, it's like all these like different plugins in their system. So like basically you could have a directory with all your plugins, and then when you load up the app, it's just going to loop through that directory and just like load all those plugins that are going to have the same interface, with a function to call. Stuff like that I think would be kind of interesting. Yeah.
So just as a quick question, is the kind of intended use case for this for hot loading stuff like Erlang style, or is it more like to kind of take some of the pressure off the like size of Go binaries, or is it just?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just with this demo, he says this probably isn't like safe, probably not the best thing to do. So I don't know if it is just for hot loading. I would imagine it is for like stuff that should. It is good to be like extensible, kind of like Telegraph or something.
Yeah.
Where you want to be able to support like a different data source or something, and you want people to be able to like implement that, and you give them like as long as you satisfy this interface, then you're good, and we could load that in within this like other open source projects. I don't know, maybe there's other like you have like standard shared plugins that you use over like a process stack. I don't know.
Yeah. Use it for something like the HTTP server shutdown, where you calmly shut it down, load new plugins, start a new app.
Yeah, like there's like that, something like that. That endless package kind of does like the. But yeah, maybe that could be like rewritten now in a better way. I don't know. Yeah.
In-app purchases.
What's that?
In-app purchases, right? You don't get the code until you pay.
So there's a lot more like small things, other things I didn't go into. That's the link to learn everything about it. Lastly, just what's coming up in 1.9. None of this is set in stone. They're just starting it now. If anyone was following the whole aliases thing, they rolled that back, and now it might be happening again in 1.9 in a more limited fashion. Some links there if you want to read through a bunch of discussion on that. See what happens there. Faster, cheaper runtime mem stats. If maybe you're using that production, so they're trying to lower the overhead for that. New calling convention. I'll just let you guys read this. By giving some performance gains if anyone's into that sort of thing. And maybe official dependency management tool. So I haven't used this before, but I was looking up there's a app. So I guess this is not part of the standard library. It's like an additional thing you install. But it works with 1.7, and I guess it's proof of concept of like eventually it's like an official dependency management tool that would be built into Go using like the vendor directory, you know, which has been going on for a few versions now and seems to be going well. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at. I mean, there's so many different dependency management tools, as you guys probably know right now, but if you kind of like standardize on something, that'd be cool. Maybe there's going to be a logging interface in standard library, so you know it's more extensible logging going on. Go 1.8 or 1.9. Yeah, 1.8 might be the last one to support ARM version 5. If anyone's doing like embedded stuff, right? This is a small thing, just like an OS package, executable function to return the path. Yeah, so conclusion, faster garbage collection, compilation, etc. Plugins are pretty cool, structured versions, user sorting, HTTP shutdown, text contention profiling, other little tools, and yeah, upgrade to 1.8, it's out now, and yeah, that's it. So. Is there anything else you guys like pumped about, or I don't know, anything here that is like awesome? This saves my life. Or any thoughts?
Well, a good thing of having plugins is that we're finally going to have a better way of extending the form.
With the plugins?
Yeah, right now it's kind of IPC things between several executables.
Yeah.
Pretty dirty.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing to do a presentation on. That'd be kind of cool. I'm trying to think of. I think we have like one use case here where it's basically like an ETL tool where we're like converting all this data and output it somewhere else. It's all these different what we're calling transformers, like just basically one function. It's all like a standard interface that we can load through, just like loop through directory, load them all in, instead of having like a static map like we do now. So, cool. All right, thanks guys.